Hello everyone, this is Komal Mathur, a legal intern at Lexis & Company and a law student at Manipal University, Jaipur. I'm glad to have this opportunity to intern with Lexis & Company, and which is why I'm presenting this video in front of you all. The topic or purpose of today's video is to discuss the rights of a daughter. The Supreme Court, in a landmark decision aimed at ensuring a daughter's right to equality in a Hindu undivided family, ruled that women will have co-parcenary rights or equal rights to the family property by birth, regardless of whether her father is alive or not. The decision was given on September 9, 2005, the date when the Parliament recognized this right by amending the Hindu Succession Act of 1956. The Supreme Court has now declared definitively that the daughter's entitlement to inheritance stems from their birth, not from any other element such as existence of their father. A daughter is daughter. Though the verdict aims to correct one of the unfair societal practices, achieving gender parity in India while necessitate a behavioral shift in the Indian society's thinking. Now let us know what is Hindu Succession Act of 2005 and what does it do. The Hindu Succession Act 1956 formalized Mitakshara school of Hindu law, a personal law that governs the succession and inheritance of Hindu property. Only males were recognized as legal heirs or co-parceners under this law, whereas women were not recognized as co-parceners in the family and hence were denied the ability to inherit their father's property. As a result of this prejudice, Section 6 of the Act was changed in 2005 to make a co-parcener's daughter a co-parcener in her own right by the birth, just like a boy. The law also provided the daughters the same rights and obligations as if she had been a son in the co-parcenary property. Now let us know about what is co-parcener and co-parcenary property. In layman's term, a co-parcener refers to a member of a joint Hindu household who has a right to demand partition of his share of the co-parcenary property. A co-parcener is a person who shares equally in an undivided property's inheritance. A Hindu inherits co-parcenary property from his or her father, grandpa or great-grandfather. Only a co-parcener has the authority to demand property split. A family's share of a property grows or decreases as a result of death or birth. Women were not members of the co-parcenary prior to 2005, so they couldn't claim or inherit their father's property. Now let us know about previous judgment's seesaw scenario. Although it has been the law since 2005 that women are also successors to their father's property, the status of a woman to succeed to her father's property whose father died on the day of the law was enforced was unclear. On the matter, different Supreme Court and High Court benches have taken opposition positions. Now let us consider following scenarios. The benefits of 2005 amendment could only be awarded to living daughters of the living co-parceners. As of September 9, 2005, according to a two-judge bench led by Justice A.K. Goel in Prakash versus Fulvati 2015, the date when this amendment came into force. However, in February 2018, a two-judge bench led by A.K. Sikri turned a 2015 judgment and held that under the 2005 statute, the portion of a father who died in 2001 will also transfer to his daughter as co-parceners during the property division. Then in April of that year only, another two-judge panel led by Justice R.K. Agarwal reaffirmed the 2015 view. Due to the contrasting views of the benches of equal strength, the current case was referred to a three-judge bench. Now the current judgment's highlights are: the three-judge panel chaired by Justice Arun Mishra reached the following conclusions. That a Hindu woman entitled to be a joint heir to the ancestral property is based on birth rather than whether or not her father was alive at the time the law was passed in 2005. The Hindu Succession Amendment Act of 2005 granted Hindu women the same rights as male heirs to be co-partners or joint legal heirs because the co-partnership is by birth. The father co-partner does not have to be alive as of September 9, 2005. If a daughter is alive on the day of the Amendment Act's enforcement, she becomes a co-partner with effect from that date, regardless of the date of her birth earlier in time. The right to equality granted on daughters by Section 6 cannot be taken away from them. The judges also cited that the adage of a son is a son until he marries, whereas a daughter is daughter for the rest of her life. Several cases on this topic were pending before several courts and had previously been delayed according to the rulings. The court requested that all the ongoing proceedings be resolved within 6 months if at all feasible. The significance of this judgment was the end of this legal ambiguity. The decision has clarified the law and made it apparent that change to Hindu Succession Act of 1956 allowing daughters equal rights to inherit family property would take effect retroactively. In keeping with the spirit of the Constitution, the court acknowledged that a person's gender cannot be used to deny them their inheritance right. The Supreme Court's view has removed male primacy over Hindu ancestral property. Giving the daughters equal co-partnership rights is in accordance with Article 14 of the Indian Constitution's spirit of equality. Now, what were the associated challenges? Indian society patriarchal nature. While the decision is a step forward towards gender equality, it is far from the certainty that Indian families will readily hand up control to their female members. This is due to the deep-rooted custom and patriarchal mindset of the society, which indicates that family business be passed down only to sons. In this context, it is conceivable that some business families would disregard the verdict and instead park their riches or wrought wills that distribute assets to the male successors. Lack of awareness among women was another challenge. It is difficult to ensure that this law provision genuinely empowers women because a majority of women were unaware of their rights. Moving towards the conclusion, while the decision is a step forward in effort of creating a level playing field in legal rights for women, bringing societal behavioral change will play a larger role in achieving gender parity in India. As a result, there is a need to modify society's patriarchal perspective and ensure that women have the same responsibilities and rights as males in obtaining educational qualifications and the training required to run a business. Furthermore, the fact that it took 15 years to resolve the issue emphasizes the critical need for a clear civil code based on the universal principles of natural justice and fundamental rights. This is for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.